All right, welcome back. So excited to delve into this next chat. Thandiswa Mazwai will mark the one-year anniversary of her acclaimed album, Sankofa, next week, Sunday, with an exclusive live performance at the Lyric Theatre. The icon will take the stage alongside a talented jazz quartet to present a curated selection of music, and this is from her albums Belede and Sankofa. This event will be an intimate journey through Thandiswa's musical vision, weaving stories, memories, and dreams that are inspired by her encounters with legendary mentors like Miriam Makeba and Hugh, Masekela, as well as her travels all across the African continent, in fact, the world over. Thandiswa now joins us virtually to chat a little bit further. Thandiswa, King Ta, good morning. Thanks for your time at this hour with us.
Hi, thank you so much for having me. I'm in the Eastern Cape.
Okay,
So,
well, it looks
I hope
rather
the
cold
connection is
there.
good.
All right, thank you, King Ta, for
It's
that.
actually much
It
warmer
looks
than
rather
Joburg.
cold on your side, but we're gonna hopefully heat things up by chatting about this exciting endeavor. I mean, Sankofa, we know last year, upon its release, you were fetching, you're turning to fetch something and bring it back. And I wonder if we're looking at what's in store for this edition, performing at the Lyric Theatre as well. Why did you choose this special venue? What are you fetching and returning in the same breath?
Well, the Lyric Theatre, we've had a great relationship for many, many, many years. And so it's just one of those theatres that I love going to. And for the Joburg audiences, it's a place that we're used to. We just kind of keep going back to the Lyric Theatre. So we're back there again this coming Sunday on the 29th. And we're presenting the music from my latest album, Sankofa. Mostly because I feel that, sometimes people listen to one song and then, they kind of don't have access to the rest of the music. So we would love to be able to perform it live and present the music to the audience. I'll also be bringing a lot of songs from my other album, Belede, which I feel we haven't performed enough of.
All right, so we're looking forward to that. And thank you for speaking to that, because 1 year on, I mean, how does it feel to celebrate the anniversary of Sankofa? But even if we're looking at the social commentary of where we find ourselves in as a contemporary South Africa, what should we be fetching and returning? What should we be learning from the past as well?
Well, looking at the visuals, I'm reminded that what we should be fetching is a lot of our traditions, our culture. We should be so much more proud of who we are. And, tradition is so important because it allows you to move into the future with confidence, with pride. And so I think that that's one part that's important for us to fetch. But in terms of this freedom, we have been struggling for this freedom for so many years. So many people have died in order for us to have this freedom. And so we must fetch justice. We must fetch the equality that we deserve, We must fetch the services that we deserve from our government and from the representatives that we put in power. So for me, those are the things that are very, very important for us to fetch. But also as South Africans, as people of the continent, as people of the world, joy. Joy is also important, for us not to be so stuck in our rage and, in the fight always, but to be able to find what joy means to us, what it is to live without violence, to live without struggle, what's beyond that. So those are the things that I'm fetching, and I'm hoping that some of my audience can come along with me in that.
We're certainly going to be alongside you. I'm even looking at your travels across Africa, the world over. I mean, you performed at the Tiny Desk, and that was an explosive concert. But just solidifying your mark, the world over. Tell us a little bit more about your travels, but also just extending beyond our borders into the global sphere.
Well, in terms of the music, it's been really incredible to be able to travel to West Africa, to Senegal, where some of the album Sankofa was recorded, and to interact with the traditional instruments in West Africa, like the kora and the ngoni, So those travels for me were like really pivotal in influencing the sound of this album, Sankofa. But also just, going around the continent and around the world reminds you just how special it is to be South African, how special it is to be an African, you know. So I'm really using this music to celebrate that, to celebrate our magic, our special power, our special presence and energy in the world.
Yeah, and I mean, beyond also just extending your own culture and fusing jazz and other influences, as you've also alluded to. I mean, the musicians themselves that are going to be performing alongside you or have been part of this creative process. What went into that for you? How did you connect to, you know, able to birth this next leg of what Sankofa entails?
Yeah. I mean, I started in this business very young. I was 19 years old when I started, and I was doing music that we called it kwaito, and kwaito has become quite a legendary sound. Um, and I think over the years, I've experimented with so many other different sounds, you know, like Afro pop, Afro soul, and jazz has become a medium that I've become quite fond of right now. I mean, I also love punk music, you know that, because I do stuff with the Blackjacks. But I started working with Nduduzo Makatini and Budhebi Tswayedi and Ayanda Sikate on drums in the early 20, like I think it was like around 2010, 2012. And so that began to open up my mind to what jazz could do and how I could infuse some of that into my sound. The album is not jazz by all means, but it really does have these great jazz influences. And they really came about through friendships that I have, you know, with, you know, as I said, with Nduduzo Makatini, but also with Michelle Ndengechelo, who is one of the producers that are on this album. And interestingly enough, she's going to be playing at the Joy of Jazz this year. So anybody who loves Michelle Ndengechelo should go.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm at the Lyric Theatre on Sunday. I'll be playing with Sanele Pagati on piano. Benjamin Jafta will be playing double bass and the electric bass. Then we have Lungile Gunene on drums and Robin Fassi on trumpet. And then in and out will be Clem, who will be playing synthesizers. So it's a bit of a different band, but yeah, we're hoping that the audience can come along with us on this journey.
Well, we're counting down as we edge closer to that performance on Sunday. King Tut, thank you for your time. Enjoy the Eastern Cape. I know that you'll bring all those memories alongside back to Joburg as we await that performance happening at the Lyric Theatre on Sunday. It's been 1 year of Sankofa. And of course, we were just in conversation with renowned muso Thandiswa Mazwai, chatting about her upcoming performance at the Lyric Theatre, the impact it's had 1 year later, and of course, what it also means to return, fetch, and bring back, you know, the healing that is needed for this contemporary time we find ourselves in as a country.